Yo, so we are back, and today we're doing a 2-round 2025 fantasy football mock draft. Now, we already have a video out going in depth of round 1. We're going to very quickly recap what the round 1 mock draft will look like. What will the first round be? Today, we're going even further. We have the second round, what the second round of your draft will look like. So please, smash the subscribe button, boys. If you guys want it, show some comments down below. You want to see me do round 3, round 4, round 5? I'll do a 12-round mock draft. Well, you'll know who you're going to be getting in 2025, man. Let's get right into it. So just to recap, at the 101, we have Ja'Marr Chase going first off of the board. He won the Triple Crown for a reason, man. This guy was a stud in 2024. Big things to come. Number 2, Bijan Robinson. Breakout season. Bad first 5 games with Atlanta. Just ended it pretty dang strong. Number 3, Justin Jefferson. Again, quarterback carousel. We don't know the Minnesota Vikings quarterback landing spot in 2025. Jefferson will be just fine. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. Number 5, we have Jahmyr Gibbs. David Montgomery might be a vulture, but Jahmyr Gibbs still out-touchdowned Saquon Barkley. Jahmyr Gibbs at 5. CeeDee Lamb at number 6. CeeDee Lamb is probably my most concerning kind of boom-bust type pick in the top 10. Puka Nacua at number 7. If he stays healthy, this guy can compete with Ja'Marr Chase for wide receiver 1 status. Number 8, we have Nico Collins. Similar to Puka Nacua, he's a bit more of a red zone threat, not as much of a yardage PPR threat, but if he stays healthy, good things to come. Number 9, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's competing now with targets with Laporta, Jameson Williams. Not as many receptions as usual. He stays healthy and he gets touchdowns. Number 10 is Malik Nabers. This is a bit of a teardrop off, but he had an amazing rookie season with 1,200 receiving yards and 110 receptions with Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock, and Daniel Jones, who won't ever be quarterbacks in the NFL ever again. Number 11 was BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., a very good receiving season as well. Out-receiving yarded? Is that a word? Out-received? Malik Nabers, he had 1,300 receiving yards, 87 catches, and he had 10 tutties as well. Number 12 is Devon Achane, PPR. This is the PPR format, mock draft right here. So Devon Achane, PPR, 592 receiving yards, 78 receptions, along with 907 rushing yards, 12 total touchdowns. So that is the top 12. That's the first round. We already went through that. Today, we expand. We go to round 2. At the 2 of 1, we go with Bucky Irving. Now listen. This is not my favorite picks in these positions. This is how I'm foreseeing your draft going. Bucky Irving goes 2 of 1 at number pick 13. He had 1,100 rushing yards as a rookie. He had 8 touchdowns on the ground. He had 47 receptions and 392 receiving yards. Again, the PPR upside is there. The per game upside is there. Now, you would expect that Bucky Irving takes a bigger role heading into 2025, but Rachaad White is still going to be that pest. So, Bucky Irving is not Jahmyr Gibbs, guys. I'm fine with going with Jahmyr Gibbs, even though Montgomery's that pest. I don't know. I feel like there's probably running backs in the later rounds you can get in workhorse roles. They might not have as much upside as Bucky Irving because he's young, explosive. But Joe Mixon is probably going to be there around 3. I don't know. Do you take Mixon over Bucky Irving? That's just my kind of take. At the 202, you got Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is a good pick in this scenario. He had 1,400 rushing yards, and he had not many receptions, boys. So he had 1,400 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns. That's solid. Only 18 receptions and 136 receiving yards. So the fact that he still had 1,400 rushing yards with the Colts offense being so bad, I mean, the Colts offense really can't take a step back any further, right? You expect Josh Downs to get better. Pittman was playing through an injury all season long. And Anthony Richardson, he can't do much worse. Now, Anthony Richardson's a bit of a vulture in a sense of his own, but the defenses will also have to respect him when he pulls the ball and runs, so Jonathan Taylor might have some openings in that sense. Maybe he gets vulture some touchdowns, but I still think JT at the 202 is a good pick. At the 203, we got Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, man, you're telling me that at the second round, you can get a guy that just had 1,900 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns on the ground. He had more receiving upside than Jonathan Taylor. He had 19 receptions for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. So this guy was very, very good in 2024. In 2025, yes, age is a concern. I mean, Justice Hill has a lot of the receiving role in this backfield, but if the Ravens don't pick any running backs in this heavily talented 2025 running back class, Derrick Henry could be due for a big year again. At the 204, Josh Jacobs is going to be the pick. Again, we've seen a run of 4 running backs off the board to start the second round. And, Josh Jacobs, he's among one of the younger ones. We obviously have Bucky Irving, but Derrick Henry going before Josh Jacobs, I think that's how it's going to go. So if Josh Jacobs falls to you, yes, he is getting a little bit older. He's like 26 years old right now. He'll be 27 in 2025. He had 1,300 rushing yards. He had 15 rushing touchdowns, He was a red zone threat. He did have a receiving role with 36 receptions, 350 receiving yards, and a touchdown. So if you can pick up Josh Jacobs, the Packers are going to get better in 2025 than they were in 2024. Josh Jacobs is going to have a monster year again. At the 205, not my favorite pick, but Tyreek Hill is going to go off boards. Now, this guy's going to be 31 years old in 2025. That's scary. He had his worst year. He had 959 receiving yards, 81 receptions, only 6 touchdowns. Now, Tua Tagovailoa, his health was a concern in 2024. It will be again in 2025. It's a scary pick. Tyreek Hill, he might be leaving the Dolphins. Who knows? He'll be going mid-second round. At the 206, we got A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown had a down year as well. He had 67 receptions, 1,079 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. Definitely a down season for him. He dealt with a little bit of injuries, but he played through most of them. And him and Jalen Hurts just didn't seem to be on the same page. If Saquon Barkley takes a step back, like some people are calling for, then A.J. Brown might be more heavily relied upon in 2025. So he's a solid pick right here in the middle of the second round. At the 207, we got Brock Bowers. Now, somebody might go ahead and take Brock Bowers end of round 1, beginning of round 2. I have him mocked out right now at the 207. He had the receiving. He was the tight end 1 in 2024. 112 receptions, 1,200 receiving yards, only 5 touchdowns. Not as much of a red zone threat as we might have liked. But the Raiders offense, if they go quarterback, then the Raiders offense and Brock Bowers might be able to take a step forward. Look for Brock Bowers to have an even better 2025, if that's even possible. At the 208, we got Kyren Williams. A lot of running backs here in round 2, so maybe you go heavily wide receiver in round 1. Pick up that running back 1 in round 2. So Kyren Williams had 1,300 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, 182 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns in the air. He had a really good year, man. 16 total touchdowns, and he had 34 receptions. So his efficiency in the air game might not have been as great as you could think. But when Matthew Stafford's under pressure, he does tend to chuck it down a lot to Kyren Williams there in the backfield. We saw that in their playoff game in the wild card against the Vikings. So I think that Kyren Williams could be a sleeper candidate for 2025. I mean, yes, if Blake Corum gets the hot hand, who knows what Sean McVay does with his running back. Kyren Williams only going to be 25 years old at the start of the 25 season. So I think Kyren Williams could be due for a solid year as well. Drake London is the 209. And I think there's a lot of upside here. You're chasing the upside. This could be a wide receiver 1. He had 100 receptions for 1,271 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns in 2024. Most notably, we got Michael Penix Jr., a new QB in there. And when Penix Jr. came in, his last 2 games, Drake London had 13 targets and 18 targets. Drake London had 17 receptions in 2 games and 2 touchdowns in 2 games. He had 140 yards averaged in those 2 games, Penix. That is monster numbers. You know, if I can get Drake London in round 2, I'm personally taking him myself. Then we go to the 210, we get CMC. It's scary. Now, talk about guys that I'm not taking myself right here, man. CMC did absolutely nothing in 2024 because he was injured. People took him in the first round. You got scammed. Scammer gets scammed, and I'm scared. You might get scammed again in 2025. But right on the other hand, he could be a league winner. He's going to be 29 years old, which isn't as old as Derrick Henry, but the health is a concern. Maybe the 49ers go running back in the draft. Scary stuff if you take CMC. At the 211, we have Trey McBride. McBride was a really good tight end. You know, the upside here is he wasn't as good as Kittle in 2024. He was right there, though. He had 111 receptions, 1,150 receiving yards, only 2 touchdowns. That's trash. It's trash. The red zone threat wasn't there. Cardinals offense honestly wasn't that good. Maybe the Cardinals offense takes a step forward with Marvin Harrison Jr. as a year 2 wide receiver. If he steps up, then maybe they get more opportunities in the red zone. Trey McBride, the age, he's only 25. He's going to be 25 at the start of the 2025 season. And there's not many other great tight ends. He gives you that positional advantage. We're going to have maybe Laporta bounce back year. We're going to have Kittle, who's very old. Somehow he stayed healthy in 2024. Besides Bowers, though, who's there going to be? There's going to be some rookies. Colston, Loveland, Tyler Warren. But McBride will be one of those caveat tight ends. And then finishing off round 2 at the 212, another running back. We go James Cook. James Cook had 1,000 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns. He averaged 5 yards a carry. The red zone role was there with the 16 tutties. He did have a receiving role as well, 32 receptions, 258 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, does Ray Davis start eating into that role? Ty Johnson steals some of those touchdowns. Josh Allen steals some of those touchdowns. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a regression here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same numbers. That's why he's going at the end of round 2. So just to recap, I'm going to go name by name, 1 through 12 of round 2. Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Brock Bowers, Kyren Williams, Drake London, CMC, Trey McBride, and James Cook. That's the first 2 rounds of the 2025 Fantasy Football Mock Draft. PPR format, 12 team. And we're going to have round 3 coming out soon. If you guys smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, and comment down below. Peace out. Thanks for watching.